I just graduated from college. I studied physics because I always wanted to know how things work. Reminds me of Stephen Hawking, who was able to explain how everything started, how everything works. I studied in New York University with a full scholarship and I graduated with a GPA of 4.2. To be totally honest with you, I don't know why people freak out about it so much. It is just a number. It has been 5 years since I graduated and nothing much has happened. I woke up today and drank my black coffee with one spoon of sugar like I always do and put on my V-neck t-shirt with some black rugged jeans and white pants. Last night something felt off. For some reason, I remember being somewhere else. If I had to guess, it would be probably somewhere in Europe because of the antique architecture. It was probably just a dream. When I looked at my phone, I had a missed call from my brother David. He was living in Boston with his wife and daughter, and you could say he was the better child. For the moment, I only had one thing in mind: finish my thesis of the theory of time relativity, of how time is relative to the size and speed of an object. Coming back home, Coming back from home, I had to stop in a grocery store to buy some things. Prices nowadays were really unacceptable. Why would I have to pay 3 bits for one apple? Since the dollar got eradicated by President White, inflation has been a huge problem. I was almost done with this guy when this guy walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder, locked eyes with me, and simply said, "Audite somnia." What did that mean? I looked back at him and just said, "What?" I never got my answer. He left and walked straight out. He seemed like he was in a hurry. He was wearing a yellow rain jacket and black pants. His hair was long and wet because of the rain. He had really unusual eyes. They were pale and lifeless, like he has not slept for weeks. He seemed to limp and looked rather old. Even if I was confused, I decided to just shake my mind off that. I was too busy to concentrate on something a crazy man randomly told me. I took out my phone out to pay when I noticed I had two more missed calls from my brother. At first it didn't worry me, but now 3 missed calls had told me something. I went home and turned the TV. Meanwhile, I was dialing David. Now it was 7 p.m. and I haven't contacted my brother. The phone would ring and ring just to go to voicemail and hear his voice asking to call later. I have been trying for several hours now and I was losing my nerves. The afternoon could not get any worse until I started watching the news. Today, in Manhattan, a 42-year-old man was found hanging in his apartment. He was holding what appeared to be a necklace and was wearing a yellow rain jacket. I zoned out. I did not hear anything else the reporter said. I was trying to absorb and understand what was going on. This is the man that walked up to me. He killed himself. Why did he kill himself? What did he say to me? Who is he? Where is my brother? What is going on? At this point, my mind was all over the place. Last night, I had the strangest yet most realistic dream in my life. My brother is missing. This man says something to me, and now he's dead. This must be all connected, somehow. I needed to figure it out. Maybe my brother is in trouble. God knows where he is. Maybe this is the only way to help him, and maybe find him. Where do I start? He said something to me, but what was it? I sat down on my white couch next to my fireplace in my living room and tried my hardest to remember what he said. I remember it started with a vowel. Yes, it was again, my mind was blank. I tried thinking around it and decided that it's pretty similar to Italian, and Italian is a romantic language and is very influenced by Latin. This means it could be something in Latin. I haven't met someone who speaks Latin nowadays. Latin disappeared a long time ago. Anyways, it's not like I have much choice, so I tried the Latin dictionary. To my surprise, I did get an answer, but it was not quite what I was expecting. It just read, "Listen to your dreams." What is that supposed to mean? Then it hit me. My dream had felt real that night. So real I even felt pain and temperature. I tried calling my brother again, but again I got nothing. The rest of the night basically consisted of me going crazy. I stayed up until 2 a.m. reading every book that could help. At the end of the night I had read 7 books. I was exhausted, and even if this whole situation was crazy, I knew I needed sleep. Huh. Sleep. The one thing that caused all of this. But how? I went upstairs to my room and fell right into my bed. I was asleep as soon as I touched the bed. Normally you have random thoughts and a lot of darkness, and then you magically wake up the next day. I opened my eyes to see my house. I woke up wishing that what happened had all been a bad nightmare, but to my dismay, I saw all the books scattered across my living room, confirming last night. I decided to make breakfast and eat something, but when I opened my counter, it was completely empty. How is it empty if I bought groceries just yesterday? I closed the counter, still confused, and turned around and saw 2 pale eyes looking at me from across the room. I screamed and jumped back, knocking stuff off the counters and breaking them. This is the man who talked to me. This is the man who killed himself. Hello, Eric. I tried to say something, but I could not articulate or even make a sound. It felt like a big plug was put in my throat. This man is dead. How is he sitting in my living room? Why is he in my house? He was sitting in the wooden chair I used to think with his right leg over his left leg, creating a sort of square. He was holding a puzzle, one that I had never seen before, and triggered curiosity in me. He leaned forward like he wanted to tell me something important and just said, "Did the cat eat your tongue, or are you just deaf?" This time I managed to make out some words and said, No, I can speak." I was terrified, but I tried to hide it. The strange man stood up from the chair, walked over to me and reached his hand out. "Pleased to meet you. My name is Jakar Alabet, but you can call me Jack." I also reached my hand out and said, Eric Drum." I was still in shock, even though I'm hiding it, and decided to ask what has been bothering. "Jack, I saw you dead. You were hanging from your apartment," I said. He said, "Yes, I know. How are you alive?" He responded, "I'm not." "What?" I was so confused. "You're literally in my apartment. How is this?" He interrupted me. "This is a dream, Eric. You're asleep and you're dreaming." In that moment, I felt sick. "You're lying. Now you're gonna have to tell me what really is going on, or we're gonna have some problems." What happened next, I didn't expect. He reached behind his back and pulled something out from thin air. It was a 9mm gun. At this point, I knew I was dead. He was going to point his gun at me, pull the trigger, and end my life, and then I would probably appear in the news. He did not do that though. He did the strangest thing. He took out his gun, and instead of pointing at me, he pointed at his own head and pulled the trigger. His body felt like an empty boxing bag, and he started to bleed all over my floor. His blood filled the floor and stained my carpet. The gun was still in his hand, although it was not alive. I was in shock, just to hear a voice behind me. I turned around and there he was. The guy that just shot himself in front of me is leaning on the counter and looking at me like nothing happened. I looked over to him and then back to where his body was and was surprised to find that there was nothing there. His dead body was gone. I looked at him trying to figure out what happened and he said, "You can't stay in a dream. At least not in this kind of dream." My only reaction was, What do you mean you can't die in a dream? How do you know this stuff? And what do you mean by not in this kind of dream? I was losing my mind. Was I going crazy? I just want to wake up to realize this is all part of my imagination. If you will let me, we can sit down and I'll explain everything to you. I agreed. I had so many questions and I wanted answers. And so we sat down and he told me everything. There is so much you don't know, Eric. All this, where we are right now, is something you were already in but did not know it. Okay, so this is how it goes. When someone falls asleep, they go into dreaming, right? For most people, dreaming is like going into a roller coaster. They get in and go through a series of events, but they do not pay any attention to anything because it's going too fast. Then they get out of the roller coaster and wake up. They do not have control over anything and do not even realize it's something. But then there are other people, special people, people who do realize what is going on, and they get off the roller coaster and start walking around the track. For people like me and you, it's more like opening a door into an infinitely big room. We can control what is going on, but there's a trick. We can only control what is ours. For example, this is your dream and I am in it. Yes, but I can't control it. Most I can do is create new things, small things like the gun you saw. But you can literally shape everything to your like. Now, like in real life, some are better at it than others. Some are born with this talent, with this ability, if you want to call it like that. And they're truly powerful. But there are a few number of people, well, very few, who can destroy a dream and create one. When you destroy one, the owner will die if he dies in his sleep. They are called natures because just like nature, they create and they destroy. Most of them do not even realize the power they have and they end up killing themselves or trapping themselves in a sleep void. A sleep void is when someone is so deep into sleep where he loses track of time and space and feeling. That's why there's even fewer. My mind was trying to process everything, but I was so curious about all this. He now looked way more serious. The way a doctor looks at a patient's family before telling them the surgery went south. He said, Eric, there's something you need to know. Neither what he said nor how he said it made me comfortable, and I already knew something was wrong. Your father, Eric, he's alive. My father has been missing since I was 4 years old, and that has haunted me ever since. Thankfully, my mom was able to raise me and my brother. I was so confused. I said, What do you mean? He proceeded to tell me what it meant. Your father is alive, has been all this time, and he always knew you and your brother were alive. Now, remember what I told you about natures? Well, your father is one of those, a quite powerful one. But he took the wrong turn and is obsessed with power. There is a theory that if three natures combine, the host will be able not only to control this world, but the real world as well. You and your brother are both natures, and your father kidnapped your brother and planned to kidnap you and kill you both and take everything you have, making him basically the most powerful person in history. He has your brother David. He was going to go after you. I used to work for him, but when I discovered what he wanted, I fled.